All right, all right. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, everybody else. You can use the chat and welcome. I think I'm going to go ahead and nix Zoom because there's nobody even there. And we will just roll with YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Great, great, great. Anybody new, make sure you put it in the chat. I'd love to know that you're new. It is 5 o'clock, and we are going to talk about the upcoming FOMC minutes and the GDP, and then uptrend, downtrend. I think we all know looks like a downtrend, but we're right near support. And then, of course, number 3, I'm going to take your request for at least 30 minutes. We will cover all that. So, welcome, Richard. Welcome, Al. Glad to have you new. I am Jeffrey Turnmeyer. I've been trading for well over 20 years now, and I've not been doing this guru, talking to people, teaching them stuff for very long. I'm coming up on 2 years. I've just been a trader, learned through the School of Hard Knocks, no kind of connections. Grew up right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, right in the background image right here in the screen. That's downtown Knoxville. Not a huge place. The sun sphere that you usually see, if I switch views right here, the sun sphere right here, you can see that right there. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And I've already flipped off the one chart. Oh, the disclaimer. So all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Don't trade with money you can't lose. Seriously, come on, people. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of any kind of future results, though patterns tend to repeat. And this presentation here, informational, educational, and fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything out there at all, including my stuff. So if you desire that personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. And let's jump into it, shall we? So I was talking about the FOMC minutes and the preliminary GDP. So coming up tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon, I should say, Wednesday, 2 p.m., we have the FOMC minutes. That can be a market mover. Is it going to pop? Is it going to drop? Well, we're going to find out. I think they were probably possibly more hawkish than we intended, but they could also be talking more about the end of the rate hikes in the minutes. And we'll find out more about what they actually talked about in those minutes and what they kind of gauge more on what we think the Fed's going to do moving forward. Now, the mainstream media has kind of been talking higher for longer narrative, and no soft landing or no landing. I don't know. The talking heads are all over the place with it. The big thing was, I predicted this pullback over a month ago, and it happened almost to the candle. I'll show you here in just a minute. But we also have on Thursday the preliminary Q1 GDP, or no, Q4, excuse me, preliminary Q4 GDP. That's Q4 last year. We'll find out what the read was. They're expecting 2.9. We'll see if that comes in or if we disappoint there. So we had the 2 negative quarters of GDP in there, and then we had a positive, and we're expecting another positive for the year. I don't know. I think we had this recession, maybe rich session might be the more accurate term for it, where the rich people are suffering more than the poor people. All these jobs that are getting created are really part-time jobs, not full-time jobs. We're losing a lot of full-time jobs and adding a lot of part-time jobs. And some people have 2 and 3 jobs. Like, I actually pulled down 2 W-2 jobs myself. And how many people out there are holding down multiple jobs or have a full-time job, then a part-time job to supplement the cost increases from inflation? All those are counted as separate jobs, though, in that jobs report that we keep getting every month. And possibly, we'll see what the GDP reports. I'm kind of thinking it comes in softer than 2.9 expected up here than the predicted. Maybe. The Christmas sales and everything were down lower than what people expected, so we may come in a little soft on that Q4 GDP. We'll see, quarter over quarter. So, all right, got that coming up on Thursday. Now, let's talk about the charts. So this morning, I've been doing a morning show. If you're not familiar, should come back to the, make sure you subscribe. Click that button over there, wherever it is on YouTube, whichever way it is. Click that subscribe button, hit the bell with the little things to make sure you get notified. I go live at 9:15 every morning and talk about the day. Well, I was showing off this chart this morning, saying that I kind of expected a downward bias, and we, coming into the support zone down here. And then what happened? Well, lo and behold, we got this giant red candle right down in there. Didn't quite get down to that 50% retrace at 39.75. We may see that push a little lower overnight and open tomorrow and then bounce. We could go as low as 39.24. These are SPX numbers. We'll talk about ES here in a minute. That's the S&P 500 futures. I use those because they trade basically 23 hours a day. So, all right, looking at this one, S5FI also, we got a pullback right into that 50% zone where I thought we would pull back. Somewhere in this 40 to 50 area, we usually find a bottom and make the next leg higher. If you're not familiar with S5FI is, this is the S&P 500 stocks above the 50-day moving average. And we can look at that on TradingView also. This is my preferred charting platform because everybody can use it for free. And it hasn't quite updated for today, but we're going to see it update with today's number down here around 50. I drew that arrow over there, what, two weeks ago now? We drew that arrow, and now today we're getting down there almost exactly where I put it. 48, yeah, 48.50. I'll put the bottom right at 48.20. So, right, that's pretty darn close for a wild guess. I'm kind of expecting it to find a bottom there and turn higher. So this all fits together so far. And moving on. And these things are only updated on the end of the day. I hadn't quite updated yet. We'll update by tomorrow after they crunch all the numbers. So Nasdaq also need a pullback and to probably get down here close to the roadmap line also. And if you're not familiar, you're new here, the roadmap line is the orange line of the chart. It is an EMA based line. Why EMAs? Because it places more importance on the current price. And if you want to know more about that, there's a link in the description for the market roadmap. That is the roadmap line that you get with that. And I've got other videos too. Like a couple Fridays back, I did a whole live stream covering the code, like the code for the line and everything, right in the video. All right, popping on up. SPX. Look at that. On for how many days now? I've been saying we were due for a break up or down. If we broke out of that February 7th range there, we were either going to pop or drop. Friday, we closed and pushed lower than that low we had made the previous Friday, and I was biased short. And in Discord, I put out SPXS trade long on SPXS, which is leveraged short on SPX, and I closed it out today. We came down and basically touched the roadmap line on the daily chart here. This can be the bottom. Like, it does not have to push down to all the way into the 50% retrace I was showing a minute ago. This can be the bottom. That's the roadmap line. We tend to find a bottom. We may see a little push down to the bottom of it, and that would be closer to that 39.75 price I was talking about. So be careful, be cautious, watch out. We've had this on the chart for at least a week, and we've had that pullback off of that green zone for longer than a week. So I was expecting a lower low than that Friday, 2 Fridays back. Well, we got it. It's right there. So that's not usually the low. We don't usually make the lowest low in a swing on a Friday for the S&P. It just doesn't happen. And now here we are on a Tuesday making that lower low. Just took it a little extra longer than typical. Usually it's the Monday or Tuesday following, but this time it happened to be the Tuesday following the Tuesday. All right. Yeah, Steve, my whole thing's been messed up too. Market being closed is just not, like, the market should never be closed, right? Well, the crypto market never is closed. All right, moving on. Let's Let's jump into the futures charts real quickly. ES right back down to the roadmap line. Also, this is the S&P 500 futures. If you're unfamiliar, ES1 exclamation point. They trade 24/5. They close from 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock, and then it'll be reopened at 6 o'clock, and it'll keep going until 5 o'clock tomorrow. They do close about, and this data is delayed, so you may see it ticking. It's not actually closed for till 10 minutes after 5 on my chart, and won't restart moving again until 10 minutes after 6. So Nasdaq here, right down to the roadmap line. Beautiful, beautiful 3-wave retrace. That can hold right in here. It may push down to that orange box one more time. I prefer it just to stay right here and bounce. Russell still had a little room to go. This one could still push a little bit lower. So be careful and watch that right there. Oil still looks bearish. I mean, target's right down there. I'm gonna stick to my guns on that. That's a lower high. Probably gonna get that push down in that 65 zone. Nothing else to say there. Just don't be bullish on oil yet. It's gonna take a breakout above the roadmap line. Gasoline, lower high. That's set up. When we did this right here, I said it looks like we can push down to that target zone right down around the $1.90. Looks like we might see it. I'm glad this didn't pan on out and we didn't break out higher so far. Definitely watch. The prices to watch are this high right here, around 253. We break above that, we can break out and go higher, but it's looking like the breakdown scenario much more likely. Watch for the reaction at this double low right here. We spent 2 days making a low. Watch for the reaction right there. If we push right on through, get a daily close below that, probably coming down to this $1.90 area on gasoline. Now, natural gas, still drifting off lower. All the way back to the September 2020 low is what I was reading right before I got on here. Yeah, look at that. All the way back right there. September 2020. We don't go much lower historically. So almost at the lowest lows here. I mean, we usually bounce from this $1.50 area. Bounce hard and fast. So watch for, we got we got a little bit left in the tank, like 50 cents, but watch for, if we push down in there, the bounce can be fast and vicious. Gold also continuing to pull back. As stated for a couple weeks now, I've been looking for a move back down to the roadmap line. Haven't quite got there. Looks like we need just a little bit more push right there. Let's go ahead and adjust that arrow back to the 20%. I don't like those opaque arrows. Come on, 20%. Keyboard's still being stupid. I haven't changed the battery. There we go. And then copper turning up. That made a nice retrace right there. It looks like a 618 almost. Really darn close. That's a measured bounce. That can take it up to the next. I could take it up to 460 right there. Copper moving up is bullish for the market. High demand in copper, usually high demand in China for copper, usually means the world economy is turning. Lumber, on the other hand, still looking lower. And then housing, have to flip that up to the weekly chart because you can't see it on the daily. Yeah, find a little resistance. I do expect it one more push up, and watch out what happens right up here at this 315 area. That's if you didn't know housing futures existed, right there's housing futures. So I expect that to climb on up a little bit. It could turn down here at the 50 and make a lower low. So just be careful. Just be careful. It doesn't have to move up to that 618. It can just turn down here at the 50, which it looks like maybe it's trying to do. So be careful on that. All right. One last thing. Everybody, I'm sure, wants to hear about Bitcoin. Keeps rejecting that 25,000. Zoom it up here. Back to the daily. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days trying to break through 25. Made a valiant effort over the 3-day weekend. As soon as we break higher, That's bullish. If we return back to lows here, probably going to retest the roadmap line. We just missed it on that last pullback. So this is whales accumulating right here. You can see the pattern. They rest for a few days, then accumulate. Rest for a few days, and accumulate. And they turn it on, turn it off. So it's been happening since turn of the year, basically. And we have the halving event. If you haven't heard me talk about that, watch out for your email and stuff tomorrow. I'm going live to talk about the halving event. So, what about the Qs? We can talk about the Qs. Nasdaq, I briefly touched on it right up here. I mean, that's the Qs. That's right down to the roadmap line. You want to see the QQQ? I mean, that's right to the roadmap line. That's QQQ is in Q. All right. Now, it is that time where I take your requests. So, throw them in the chat, and I will do as many as I can, probably for at least 30 minutes here. So, UNP, first one out of the gate. Doing what I thought I was doing, going back to the bottom of the orange. Can't hold the orange, then watch out below. And then NTAP, just stuck. That's not a bullish pattern. That's, I mean, zoom out a little bit. That's like lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Hasn't been able to break out of this pattern, even though they're making some money and they got earnings coming up. What, tomorrow? Tomorrow afternoon? I'd be careful. Good earnings can push it up out of this, and it does have the gap it probably wants to fill. It made this big gap down right there. That'll be resistance at 71, 72-ish. If it disappoints at all, if they say anything disappointing, it's probably coming right back down to the lows, right back down around 58. All right. HIMX. Yeah, I mean, let's see where I have to zoom it up. Low price stuff is not always, doesn't always work as great for my stuff, but we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, right up to 618. 1, 2. This is probably going to do a 3, and it's probably going to go a little lower. That's probably not what you wanted to hear. But that would be my target. Right around the 711 area. Could push down to 678. Could turn up there. And then, let's see, let's run one more line. Yeah, look at that. That's 618 and that 100% line up right there. That's a measured bounce setup. It does that. Excuse me. Does that, then I would expect the next move up to be somewhere in this zone right up in here. Somewhere like that. That's what I would expect. And it may stop right here, and that would be bearish. That would be a turn down to a lower low if we turn down here. So what you want to see is this to rally right up here and continue to up into this zone before it pulls back. If it pulls back right there at 959-ish, 960-ish, that's bearish. So watch out on that one. All right, XLF. Looks like it's headed to the roadmap line. Right there would be my expectation. Somewhere like right there. So getting a tiny 6, 7, 8 cent bounce after the close. I'd watch for that to pull on down one more time. Looks like, yeah, she fell a little short of the 1272. Yeah, I'd watch that one to pull back there. All right, what's up next? Let's see, V and F. Visa looks like I have a target up here, but it looks like it's going to pull back to, it bounced right off that 618 level from the last pullback. Highly likely to come back to this zone right in here between the roadmap line and that support, somewhere right in there. Find a bottom and then turn up again. Somewhere in that zone. That zone goes down to 212 and the top of it is around 217. I expect Visa to push down on in there and find a bottom to be able to push out. That next push out should reach that upside target. BBIG, I can pull it up in a minute. We'll look at it. Ford, I am long-term bullish, although it broke back into this triangle, and that just is depressing. I was hoping it would be able to maintain out of the top of the triangle there. Found resistance at that prior high and turned back down again. Lame. It's highly likely to go revisit this uptrend line one more time. Just going nowhere. I am quite bullish long-term on Ford, but they got to get out of their own way. Quit issuing stop works on their trucks and electric vehicles and get going here. XLE looks pretty horrible. That's a big corrective pattern for a move down to this zone around 80. You know, the high around 80, the low around 77. So watch out right there. Do expect energy. I'm soft on energy. I mean, kind of bearish. So watch for that to pull down in there. Kind of fits with the oil and gasoline going lower. Does it have to do that? No, it doesn't have to do that, but a lot of that stuff is still pretty bearish. All right, Google. Yeah, let's right back. Oh man, it's got to hold this. It's got to hold support here. It needs to turn up now. It cannot screw around. If it breaks below that trend line, we're probably coming right back down, and it could make a lower low. Not gonna lie, that looks pretty bad. Basically the line in the sand is right there, about 90, 50-ish. That right there. If it breaks below that, and we're probably gonna retest that low at 85, and maybe even retest that low at 83, which is not that far apart. Which means it may go make a new lower low below that orange right there. And 79.31 would be the target on that. Right there, if it can't hold support. All right, Mara. Looks like it's doing the thing. I mean, it's like little mini. See, this is like a 1, 2, and it's got to have a 1, 2, and then we break. If and when we break above this high, it's going right up here more than likely. And this has to be on a log chart to really make sense. And there's the minimum, 1674. And if it's bullish, which I think it's going to be, 33 is the target. It makes a lot more sense when it's in log. What I got drawn. So there's the targets. 16 if it's bearish, 22 to 33 bullish. That target zone, like that's the 33 is the ideal spot for it to go to, but this is more like the target, kind of like I drew on the other chart, somewhere right in there. Alrighty, Amazon is trying to crush my dreams, but holding up okay. It's got that support resistance zone right there. It's been a few days. We need to not break back below that. If it does, it's coming back to the lows again. So watch for a break below this over here. This, like Google, needs to turn up and needs to do it now. Not fart around down here anymore. All right, Tesla. Yeah, just stuck at the roadmap line. I mean, I drew this arrow right here that it probably would come back to this 184 area. It's been a flip point on the chart for a while. Probably come back and test that. I drew a few scenarios here. One, it would just pop on up and retest this downtrend line. It obviously is not doing that. Two was that it would pull down and retest this line, which it missed and came back up, and it's trying again. It doesn't have to push all the way down there, but it seems likely. If this line doesn't hold, then it's likely to come all the way back down into this 145 to 157 area and test that between the 618 and the 50, the 50% and the 618 retrace before it can find support and move higher again. If it crushes down below that, well, it's going lower low. So there's the outline on Tesla. I kind of, my primary expectation right now, I didn't think this one would happen. It moved up so far, so high, so fast. I wasn't very confident in that one. This seems like my most likely path right there. Come up and test that trend line. Up there around 255 probably by the time it gets up there. It's running a little longer, so it may take a little longer to get up there, but somewhere around 250, 255. And what does that trend line come from? It comes from this big downtrend of highs, and it's not perfectly drawn, but it grabs as many as I can there. High, high, kind of the high there, high there, high there, poked above. So watch for that to test that area. It's probably a big fuzzy area. That would be my next expectation after it charges up a little bit. Charges up. Anyway, it's got to recharge a little bit to get the energy to be able to go higher like that. Now, if you couldn't afford Tesla directly, keyboard's being stupid again, TSLL, this one is likely to pop right up here to about 18. A pretty good return on that one. All right. In NVIDIA, still maintain my bullishness, although it may do this pullback that it did right here, and that would take it back down right like this. Pullback right like that. Could get a pullback right to the roadmap line. See that right there, right? Something like that. It matches, if it echoes that pattern right there. So be prepared for a steep pullback. Even though I found out the high-end AI GPUs are $34,000 each today. I priced out a machine, posted it in Discord if you caught that. They were $34,000 each for each GPU. Isn't that crazy? Like a single board and crazy. The computer I posted took 8 of them. Whew, that's a pricey thing. That's what they use for AI research. All right. Let's see. That was NVIDIA. HUT is sloppy, stuck on the roadmap line. It hasn't done a very meaningful retrace. Missed the 618 there. Looks like it's going to take another leg down. Probably. We want this one to come right down here and hold support about $1.46 and then turn up from there. Now, if it can't hold that, also there is a buyout, a merger. They're going to reverse split. I liquidated all my HUT. They're going to reverse split, and it's not going to be positive for share prices. So, if they don't follow through, on the merger with U.S. U.S. mining or something like that, then this could be bearish. I don't know. I'm avoiding this one right now. Pending merger and acquisition thing just makes for a messy chart. I don't know. DVN. Yep. There's the target right down there at 48. Taking a little while to get there. 48 is the target. Right down there. That's a bearish pattern. That's the target. Alrighty. Moving on, boot. I just posted this one in Discord. Alright, so this is a 1, 2, 3. This is a wave 4 retrace right here. I don't know why I didn't pick up my lines. Try this right here. It touched the, I mean, this is one we've been kind of following in my fib class posting. I posted a target and it hit it basically on the upside. And then echo trades we were talking about, it would probably retrace. I drew that arrow right there at that level. It got there today. I need to add one more fib line, so this makes sense. It did a 382 retrace. That is a classic wave 4. It can push as low as this 50% retrace at 77.80, or no, 72.82. Can't read the blue on the white. So watch for it to not hold here and push right down here. As soon as it starts turning back up, though, we can get the final extension on the 5-wave play, and then it's done for a while. So that would, what would that look like? It would look like, assuming we bottomed here, that would take us out to one final push up to about 103. Remove that. Come on, click, 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 click. Can't remove that line. There it goes. So 103.83 right there. Now if it pushes on down a little bit, it just pulls the target down a little bit to 99. So somewhere right in that $100 price range would be, that'd be the end for a while. And it'll probably do a larger, more drawn out retrace right back to the same area. All right, that's Boot Frog. Boot Frog. I typed an R in there. Come on. F-R-O-G. That looks sideways and nasty. Come on, what are you trying to trade that for? That looks horrible. Now do you see what I see? I see it going sideways, then down. All right, Alley, A-L-Y. Go. Yeah, that's couldn't hold above that line. Retrace to the roadmap line. Got to break back higher. Now that it made this, now it's got to be above that to go long. Otherwise, we're going to go down and fill this gap right here. And then try to get bullish again. Or break down. You listed Frog up there, BX-Ray. Let's see, AEP. Come on. Man, this thing's being a pain. And it took us right now. Took us. AEP looks pretty horrible. That's a downtrend. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Where can it find support? Potentially. It's got to break out of that downtrend. If it's gonna, like, if that was the lowest low on this move, it's got to break out of the downtrend. Otherwise, it can keep trucking, and it may go lower. And then T-Mobile Tuesday. You get a free Whopper if you have the app. Did you know that? Did you know that? If you're a T-Mobile customer, you get the T-Mobile Tuesday app. They have a free Whopper today. Good all week. Sideways. That's what I expect there. And then ALL. Sideways. Choppy sideways. All right. I just scrolled the chart too fast. Lost the chart. Ah! Sorry. I don't know what happened. Ah, there we go. Then we have to refresh a few. Where we lose me. Sorry. All right. Let me hit a few of those back. So boot. I don't know what I hit. Probably when the keyboard fell over. Boot was right there. I hit a few of these. Google, gotta stay above there. Mara. There's the path. Amazon. Right there, Tesla. That's what I was talking about. Got to hold there, bounce higher. Resistance up there, 220, 255-ish. And then NVIDIA, probably going to retrace like that. Yeah, right there. Echo right over there. Back to the roadmap line. All right, HUT. Probably going to come down here around $1.46. DVN. Target's right down there, 48. It's a big corrective pattern. Like that. Boot is an Elliott wave pattern. Hold the 382, go higher, or pull down to the roadmap line. That just makes the target somewhere around 100. And then Frog. Looks horrible, like it's gonna go down there. Alley. Retrace right there. Probably that left that gap in there. It's actually a little bigger right there. Could go refill that gap. Breaks down. Watch out for a lower low. Bounces there. It can go bullish, but it's got to break out above that high right there at 36. And then AEP. Right there is the downtrend I was talking about. It can hold here. This could be the lowest low, and it's got to break out and go higher. If it bounces down here, watch for it to come down to there. If it can get out of there, it could go up, but it's got resistance right like that. T-Mobile has that free Whopper on the coupon on the app, sideways, and then ALL sideways, crap, and then BBIG looks dead to me. I don't think there's a lot of hope unless, I mean, that's a downtrend, baby. Something material has to change here. Otherwise, it's just going to zero. Yeah, nothing. Nothing. All right. Google. I thought I already did that one. I did. Microsoft. See, zoom back up. Retrace it back to the roadmap line. Hold here and bounce. If it doesn't hold here, back to the bottom of the orange. If it can't hold that, back to a low. Got to get above this where it made these highs right here. Back and went back below the trend line. That's not good. Not good. No bueno. All right. UNG. I do hold my long-term position, and I plan to hold the long-term position until well into 24. I bought it out to 25, so that's way, 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 way out here. Yeah, my position is out here at like $10. It's a long time for this to do whatever and be higher. All right. Did Mara, in case you missed it, right up there. Those are the numbers. I know I lost the chart for a minute. Looking for that breakout. That was a little retrace, breaking out higher. Take it up to 1674 if it's bearish, and possibly in this 22 to 33 area if it's bullish. Then I'll do another pullback, similar to Boot, the way it was doing there. Its pullback. It'll look something like this. Yeah, somewhere in right in there. If it went all the way up to here, somewhere right back in here, and then do the fifth move higher before it gets a deeper retrace back into the zone one more time before it can really break out. All right. Coin is stuck on the roadmap line. This was a one fast move that may make another push down something like this. Could go down back to 44. So watch out for that to break that low. Breaks below the low right there. Then it likely to come all the way back down to here. Long term, it has a bullish setup to go test that high right there at 110. Bitcoin starts breaking out. That sucker's going. All right, lost my chart. And SOXS. Yeah, so if you want in Discord, check out the link down below. There's affordable ways to get in there. You know, all my clients get in Discord. Doesn't matter what you buy. It's a fun place to be. I share charts all day long. Heck, sometimes even all night long. That 1, 2, 3. Let's see how this compares. 1, 2. Yeah, that can go down more. Be careful. It can rally up to the roadmap line, but it can easily go down more. I would not be super bearish on semiconductors, honestly. I mean, are we really making less semiconductors? I mean, this thing appears to be a decaying asset, so I would be very careful. Yeah, 1 for 10s. 10 for 1. That's a reverse split. 10 for 1. Reverse splits are bearish. I don't care what anybody says. They're bearish. All right. AI? Yeah, let's hit that one. So AI looks like, I was saying it's going to pull back to the roadmap line. Looks like it's on the way. And looks like it's done 2 waves out of that. First move down, retrace. That retrace looks like it probably hit the 6. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Let's turn off that 382. It's annoying me. Look right there. Perfect. Hit. First move down, bounce off that. Oh, it puts it right at the roadmap line. Beautiful. That's the target. That's the target. I'm going to set an alert. If it bounces there, I'm getting bullish. Looks like it's going to 18. Sorry if you're long. All right. SOXL. Yeah, getting a little pullback. It had a head and shoulders pattern. So look at this puppy. It's crazy. It's not proportional at all. But had a shoulder, a head, shoulder, popped up, and probably needs a 618 retrace. I might retest the breakout. Oh, that would, yeah. It may pull back just a hair more and then go higher right up to the target. Watch that. That would be my expectation. Somewhere around 34 is the target on the upside. Where it bottoms is kind of flexible right now, but somewhere right in this zone right there is what I would expect. All right. There you go, TT. How low will XLI go? Sounds like a game. How low can she go? Looks like 97. It does have a trend line going. May just fund supported the trend line, but that's still the vicinity. It doesn't look like, I mean, that's kind of a channel. Like, all active. My power activate. Copy. Make a channel. Yeah. It's kind of running in a channel, so. Except for these little, whatever happened back there. Just kind of expected to do this, you know. Something like that. It's not a very exciting sector. Looks like this was the roller coaster. Now we're just kind of settling into a trend, maybe. Alrighty. Well, that's been 30 minutes. Awesome stuff there. Any final requests before we wrap this up? Going once, going twice. We didn't cover Apple. Can't believe. And if I can type, can't believe nobody wanted to see Apple. Yeah, right there. Right back to the roadmap line. Just got just a little more to go. All right. Any more? Anybody got anything else before we wrap it up? Otherwise, it's been fun. It's been real. Thank you all for coming. I will be live 9:15 in the morning, going over what's moving for tomorrow, probably some earnings plays, and we'll pick up what the futures are doing. See if the market can actually find a bottom here, or if we're pushing lower. And if you came in late, make sure you rewind, go watch the whole thing. I threw out some interesting tidbits in the beginning. Of course, we have some data coming out tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. FOMC minutes. That's a market mover. And then Thursday morning, before the open, we have Q4 GDP. So that's the things to watch out for this week. Make sure that you protect your account, because the only person watching out for you is you. So see y'all later. Have a great day.